The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johnson.
Good morning, folks, and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johnson. Thanks for joining us as we share the unique stories of life in the South. On today's show, we'll see how agriculture education is on the move in Alabama with the Mobile Dairy Classroom.
We talk about the importance of milk in your daily diet. We talk about how cows make milk.
We'll also meet the 2014 Outstanding Young Farm Family, Paul and Vicki Morrison of Ayrton, Alabama.
Thank God every night when I go to bed that I got a job that I enjoy so much every day.
And finally, Sidney Phelps with Bonnie Plants will show us the best ways to prepare the other white meat, pork.
But first, we'll get an up-close look at the Magic City's most famous statue, the Vulcan.
He was completed in 1904 for the St. Louis World's Fair. So he was sent to St. Louis to make the world aware of the fact that Birmingham was a center for iron and steel.
And we'll get started in just a moment.
This seems unbelievable, but I promise it's true.
What's with the buzzing? Oh, that's a raven. That's a good omen. He knows we're coming back with dinner.
Well, that bird had a bunch of friends. And when Scott got back to the camper...
Oh, that was a bust! What? Scott! Wait, what did you do? It's raining inside.
His new camper was a total loss, but his Alpha policy covered it.
It's that bird.
For service and savings, call Alpha.
Making sure you're covered?
Good call.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
The blessing of Alabama agriculture is more than 3 meals a day. It means independence from foreign nations, freedom to pursue other jobs and activities, conservation of natural resources, and preservation of family values. For 93 years, the Alabama Farmers Federation has brought together the men and women whose work fills our plates and fuels the American dream.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Birmingham's most famous resident stands out above the rest. In fact, he towers above the city's landscape. Let's travel to Red Mountain for an up-close look at the Vulcan. You could call him the original Iron Man. An ancient, bearded Roman god has stood tall watching over Birmingham for decades.
Vulcan was the Roman god of the forge, so his role in Roman mythology was to make weaponry for the other gods. Some people know him as Hephaestus. We have a lot of kids who are reading the Percy Jackson stories who know him by that name, but it's the same basic character. So he was a craftsman. He was a jilted lover in the old Roman stories.
The statue is around 110 years old, built by an Italian artist from local iron, and has an amazing story of creation and survival.
The idea for Vulcan was conceived in 1903. He was completed in 1904 for the St. Louis World's Fair. So he was sent to St. Louis to make the world aware of the fact that Birmingham was a center for iron and steel.
The statue was built to send a message.
But we were trying to get the message out that we knew how to cast iron to make all sorts of useful objects.
And the message was received with this huge statue.
Vulcan is 56 feet tall. He is the world's largest cast iron statue. We've never had that challenged.
After appearing at the 1904 World's Fair, both San Francisco and St. Louis tried to purchase Vulcan to be civic icons in these cities. But those offers were denied and the statue returned to Birmingham, where it lay in pieces next to some railroad tracks for more than a year. Finally, Vulcan ended up at the Alabama State Fairgrounds, where he stayed for 30 years until he was moved to his present perch high atop Red Mountain.
He is on a 124-foot pedestal that was built in the 1930s when the park was built for Vulcan.
In the 70s, the huge statue and park underwent a renovation.
Birmingham was founded in 1871. That means in 1971 we were celebrating a centennial. The idea was that we wanted to modernize the park in celebration for the centennial. So the beautiful sandstone pedestal was covered with marble. The beautiful rustic landscape architecture was sort of neatened up and paved over a bit to have a more sleek, modern look.
Even more changes were made to Vulcan in 1946. That's when the Birmingham J.C. started a new campaign designed to stop traffic accidents. They added a torch to Vulcan's spear. When it shined red, there was a deadly traffic accident, and when it shined green, there were no fatalities. It was supposed to be a short campaign, but ended up lasting around 50 years. The statue stood towering above Birmingham until a major development in the late 90s.
In 1999, Vulcan was in great disrepair and was really kind of dangerous. So the park was closed down and we began a restoration effort at that point.
While the statue was under repair, organizers raised money and renovated the whole park and added a new Vulcan Center and Museum, which now houses Birmingham's iron-making history. The park reopened in 2004. These days, the Great Iron Man still stands on Red Mountain, and his 10-acre park now hosts students, picnics, even weddings. And visitors can go up to Vulcan's observation deck to look out at the city's skyline. And his park allies say they have a clear goal now: to protect Vulcan as he looks over them.
Job number one is the preservation of Vulcan. We never want to see him get to that point that he was in 1999. So that involves annual inspections. We periodically keep Vulcan painted.
The park and museum are open 7 days a week, and you'll find more information at visitvulcan.com. The Vulcan has been an award-winning statue since its creation. It won the grand prize in its category at the 1904 World's Fair and is listed as one of the top places to visit in Birmingham by numerous travel websites and magazines. You can find more information on the Vulcan Park and Museum at visitvulcan.com.
Coming up next, meet Jersey Joe. She's a big hit with school kids all across Alabama as part of the Mobile Dairy Classroom Project.
And later, get tips on preparing and cooking pork with Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie Plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Taking care of your children is the most important thing in life. My husband had taken out a life insurance policy. I knew that my children were going to be provided for.
My sister and I both were able to go to college with the life insurance that my father had purchased from Alpha. And now I feel the need to protect my family the same way that my father protected us.
Joseph's got a policy with Piper now. That's 5 generations, all with the same agent. And Alpha's the only place we want to be.
For service and savings, call Alpha.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
It's been said, without hard work, nothing grows but weeds. This is certainly true in agriculture. At the Alabama Farmers Federation, we know success is not born of fancy words, grand ideas, or good intentions. It's a result of wise planning, bold leadership, dedicated work, and blessings from above.
Dairy farms used to be a common sight in Alabama, but in recent years, the industry has shrunk. With fewer dairy farms in the state, it's become even more important to educate today's youth about where their milk really comes from. That's the goal of the Mobile Dairy Classroom, which takes the dairy cow directly to schools. Here's Samantha Carpenter with more.
It's not every day a cow comes to a school, but when it does, it certainly creates a show.
Well, the kids love it. They walk up to her and they come out of the classrooms and they're hollering and screaming, all excited because they've seen a real live cow.
The Mobile Dairy Classroom features a real cow with real milk and a real message. It travels all over the state and Southeast visiting schools, fairs, and festivals.
We're a nonprofit organization based out of Sulphur Springs, Texas, and 12 years ago the Alabama dairy farmers wanted to have this program in their state, and so it's a free program offered to schools and different events.
And it's at those events school children learn the basics from Michaela Sanders.
Yeah, I talk to school-age kids, kindergarten, all the way to the college level, and we talk about the importance of milk in your daily diet. We talk about how cows make milk. I actually milked the live cow during the demonstration. You'd be surprised that most kids, even riding down the road, don't pay attention to their surroundings, and they've never even seen a real live cow, and much less been this close to one.
Cows like Jersey Joe provide a lot of education and also a lot of laughs.
Jersey Joe is a 5-year-old Jersey dairy cow. She's about the best Jersey I've ever been around. She's a pretty funny cow. Right now she's picking her nose, you know. She said, make sure I don't have anything on me. But she is given about 5 gallons of milk. She had a baby calf in January, and so she's getting ready to go dry the end of December.
Alabama's dairy industry had a $25 million impact on the state's economy and created 184 million pounds of milk in 2011. Alabama has nearly 11,000 dairy cows, but doesn't produce enough milk to meet demands. States like Texas and New Mexico help fill the balance. That's why the Mobile Dairy Classroom is important, to help educate students about the industry and possibly inspire a student to be a dairy farmer one day.
The most important reason is if you go out here, like today, we have about 1,000 kindergartners, and you ask most of the kindergartners where milk comes from, and they're going to tell you Publix or Winn-Dixie or Walmart, some places like that. And so they need to know that the milk doesn't grow on a tree. They need to know that it actually comes from a cow, and there is somebody that works 7 days a week, 365 days a year, to make sure that they have a good, wholesome product in the grocery store.
The Mobile Dairy Classroom is put on by the Southwest Dairy Farmers. You can arrange for the Mobile Dairy Classroom to visit your school or community event by going to the group's website and clicking on the Mobile Classroom link. One thing's for sure, the children in your town will love it.
And a lot of times kids, I've learned, they enjoy the facts about the cows. The 4 stomachs that the cow has, the way that the cow eats. Her tongue is a foot long and feels like sandpaper. And then they do actually enjoy the milking process itself.
For Simply Southern, I'm Samantha Carpenter.
As Samantha mentioned, the Mobile Dairy Classroom is available to visit schools or special events in Alabama. Visit southwestdairyfarmers.com and click on the Mobile Dairy Classroom link to submit a request. Stay with us. In our next segment, we'll visit with the state's 2014 Outstanding Young Farm Family, Paul and Vicki Morrison of Dale County.
The blessing of Alabama agriculture is more than 3 meals a day. It means independence from foreign nations, freedom to pursue other jobs and activities, conservation of natural resources, and preservation of family values. For 93 years, the Alabama Farmers Federation has brought together the men and women whose work fills our plates and fuels the American dream.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie Plants. so you'll know how to grow.
I got a call from Ashley, one of my customers, because
it looks like there's been some sort of explosion.
There is soot everywhere, all over this house, and she finds something very strange.
Someone's been here.
Call 911. I'll be right there.
I came home.
It turns out someone tried to break into her house and they got stuck in the chimney. Ashley was covered for the damage to the chimney and the cleanup.
For service and savings, call Alpha.
What one thing can you say about your local quality co-op store? You can trust us. You get what you need for your farm, for your lawn and garden, and the safest products for your pets. We're locally owned and operated, and you can trust that we care about our community and the people in it. So if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, the Quality Co-op Store has exactly what you need to get the job done. All this plus friendly, knowledgeable advice. Your Quality Co-op Store. There's one near you.
The Alabama Farmers Federation recognizes one young farm family every year, a family that excels in its work while being stewards of the earth. For 2014, Paul and Vicki Morrison of Dale County received the Outstanding Young Farm Family Award. Kevin Worthington takes us to Ayrton, Alabama for a closer look at the Morrisons' farm.
Paul and Vicki Morrison operate a 2,500-acre farm in southeast Alabama consisting of beef cattle, peanuts, cotton, and corn. Paul grew up on his family's row crop and beef cattle operation, while Vicki's family raised beef cattle and chickens. As a result, both of them play a significant role in making their farm successful.
She can pretty much do anything I can do.
When I say I help out on the farm, I pretty much can do everything he does better. And the only thing that I haven't done is I've never picked peanuts or cotton. I have planted both. I've plowed up peanuts, I disc, rake hay, cut hay.
About the only time the Morrisons aren't working together is when Vicki is at her full-time job as a high school math teacher. She says agriculture has been important in her life, but math is her passion and teaching is her calling.
I really think my heart's in the teenagers, and I think they need somebody there for them, and the relationship that I have with my students is strong, you know, being at a small school, so I don't think I'd have that if I went and taught at a college. I think that's where God wants me, is with the teenagers. I'm so competitive, it becomes a game to me. It's all a puzzle, it's logic, and it's, you know, I enjoy doing math for fun. Not many people say that, but he watches TV and I'm doing math problems.
Vicki's been teaching for the past 7 years, while Paul has been farming for about 15. He started with a custom hay baling business and eventually bought 25 brood cows and planted 25 acres of peanuts and 10 acres of corn. Besides getting him started in agriculture, Paul says his custom hay business has been crucial to the development of his farm.
Lots of places I farm today, I did work for those folks in the past, and when they got ready to retire, they called me, and in turn I farmed their place. That was I would say the custom hay baling business gave me a lot of opportunities.
Paul says this year's weather swung from too wet to dry, and although his cotton looks good, his peanut yields are suffering. He hopes that adding irrigation in the years ahead will take some of the guesswork out of farming.
I think it would greatly increase them. It'd be more consistent yields. We make pretty good yields now, but it seems like it comes in streaks. You have 2 or 3 good years, and then it's a bad year, and you can't get enough of them good years. But I think with irrigation, you could supplement that crop enough to nearby be guaranteed a crop every year. Nothing's a guarantee in agriculture, but it come closer to having a guarantee every year.
The Morrisons consider themselves to be extremely lucky. Vicki feels like she's answered a divine calling by opening young minds. And Paul says being able to do what he does for a living is nothing short of a blessing.
Thank God every night when I go to bed that I got a job that I enjoy so much every day. It's a blessing to be able to get up and go to work and enjoy it.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
Along with the annual Outstanding Young Farm Family Contest, The Young Farmers Division hosts competitions for excellence in ag and discussion meet. For more information about the group, visit alphayoungfarmers.org. After the break, Sidney Phelps with Bonnie Plants will give us his tips and tricks for preparing the perfect pork plate.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
It's been said, without hard work, nothing grows but weeds. This is certainly true in agriculture. At the Alabama Farmers Federation, we know success is not born of fancy words, grand ideas, or good intentions. It's a result of wise planning, bold leadership, dedicated work, and blessings from above.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Carl and Jan were camping with their family.
Hey, sweetie, do you mind if I get your wallet? I'm going to run down and get some hot dogs for dinner.
You know we're gonna catch dinner, right?
Yes, yes I do. Okay.
Jan lost his wallet at the store. There was no ID in it, but the guy who found it found my business card and called me. I liked saving them money, but I loved helping them save their vacation. It was a good call.
For service and savings, call Alpha.
Tartar sauce, hon?
Yes! Yes! Hey folks, Sidney Phelps with Bonnie Plants. Today we're coming out from the garden and into the kitchen. We want to take some of our finished product herbs and put them to good use. Today we're going to do a marinated pork tenderloin with a Mediterranean feel. We're going to have Greek oregano, some parsley, some basil, as well as some garlic going in this to set it overnight and marinate strong. So you have a good flavor when it goes on the grill. Get ready to add that. We're going to do a little trick. We're going to take some tzatziki sauce, stuff it in a pita, and throw all that pork back in there with some fresh peppers, fresh onions from the garden. So we're going to try that out here. First things first, we've got our pork tenderloin out. It's up to room temperature, so it's going to be able to take these dried ingredients really well. Let's start off, we're going to use some dried basil. So we're going to do a teaspoon of dried basil. Basically just want to put it in there. We'll rub all of this in to the pork a little bit later on. A teaspoon of dried thyme. Okay, once we get that, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of Greek oregano. Now, Greek oregano is one of the most popular ingredients in Mediterranean cooking, so you can't go wrong with that. And Bonnie offers a couple of different varieties of oregano. You've got the Greek oregano, Italian oregano, as well as hot and spicy. So if you like a little bit more flair, hot and spicy would be the way to go. Actually, looks like it's going to be 2 tablespoons as it is, so we'll just pour that all in there. Now, we've got our dried ingredients. Of course, you want to do salt and pepper. Can't go wrong with that. So what I've got here is a blend of just regular black pepper and some, sea salt. So we'll just sprinkle that all in there together. Probably about a tablespoon of each. And just basically want to rub it in. Flip the tenderloin over, get all that in there really good, and we'll transfer it over here. So let me get these together. Okay. Once you've got all your dry ingredients on, just basically the easiest way to do this is have a glass bowl, your regular gallon Ziploc bag that'll be good for the refrigerator. Take any herbs that you've got left in, just throw those right in. All right, set that to the side. Now we're going to add our wet ingredients. Just basically going to do a ½ cup of olive oil, throw that in there, 4 tablespoons of lemon juice freshly squeezed, and 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. I'm going to wrap this up, soak it overnight, put it in the refrigerator. sure that all of the air is out. Now we're just going to throw it on the grill. The grill is already preheat to 400 degrees, so it'll be a quick sear. Set it up there, and we'll come back and check it in about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, we've come back in from the grill. The pork tenderloin turned out great. Now we're going to basically just take our pitas, we've already sliced them, and we're going to stuff them. Basically going to put some simple tzatziki sauce in here, some cucumber, some yogurt, sour cream, with some dill. Throw that in. We're going to take our pork tenderloin that's already sliced, stuff it in the bottom, like so. Our Bellafina peppers, putting those right over the top. Then we're going to add some fresh sweet onion. Get the onion in there, some Roma tomatoes. All right, some mozzarella cheese, and we're going to sprinkle it off with a little bit of parsley and a squeeze of lemon. So get that in there. If you want to toast this, you can. It'll be nice and warm. Otherwise, you can eat it just like it is. We've already got a couple already, and there you go. You find that recipe and more recipes at bonnieplants.com. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Along with bonnieplants.com, you can also find more pork recipes at porkbeinspired.com.
We'll have more information on upcoming Simply Southern shows on our Facebook page. Just like Simply Southern to stay updated.
And that Facebook page will have information on today's featured stories. You can also find out more information about today's featured stories by visiting their individual websites. For the Vulcan Park and Museum, go to visitvulcan.com.
For more details on the Alabama Farmers Federation Young Farmers Division, visit alphayoungfarmers.org. To schedule a visit from the mobile dairy classroom, go to southwestdairyfarmers.com.
bonnieplants.com has those additional recipes, or you can find out more at porkbeinspired.com for pork recipes, nutritional value, different cuts, and preparation tips.
Be sure to tune in at the same time next week as we highlight Coleman County's Pinehart Living History Farm.
Plus, we'll see a unique Greene County farm where a saltwater aquifer allows farmers to grow shrimp right there in their farm ponds.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Simply Southern. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johnson. We hope to see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.